Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I got a story for you today that I think you're going to find real interesting. And today is January 5th, 2020. And 8 years ago, my father-in-law, my first father-in-law, Don Calloway, died. And there's a story that goes along with that. I did a Facebook post yesterday called "My Son's Last Visit," and then I have pictures and profiles and all that to go with this. And I I know there's a lot of people on my Facebook list from Amarillo, and that's where Don was living. Of course, he lived in Hobbs for many years too. And there's a picture of him. He's a real nice man, and so I'll show you that he's preceded in death here by Jack and his two brothers, survived by Ann Calloway. We're going to talk about her in a minute. The son Larry Calloway. Larry's been my friend all my life, and Donna. Two daughters, Tammy. And Tammy was my first wife, and the mother of my son Josh. Okay, and I want to bring that out. V.J. Calloway, he was a wealthy man in Hobbs that owned a lumber store and subdivision. Actually, owned the subdivision I lived in, and a furniture store and other things. Okay, and then here on the grandsons, Kevin Goodwin, and that is. That's my daughter-in-law. That's Jolene's brother, and I've wondered if he doesn't know something about the crimes here too. And if he does, then I think he should speak out about it. He used to be on my friends list. Maybe he still is. I don't know. And then of course Josh and Joelene. That's my son and daughter-in-law. I'm just going to start on this. This will explain it better here on this side. And it says, my son's last visit, 3 weeks before I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut. My son and his family drove down from Amarillo, Texas. The date was January 4th, 2011. And they were here for a late Christmas. I'm going to take that back. I think I got a typo in there. The date was January 4th, 2012. Okay, the year just changed. I came home from work that day to find Josh and Jolene parked in front of my home. They had surprised me as they were here a day earlier than planned. He was wearing a holster and a gun, which seemed odd. A few hours later, Josh's younger brother, Preston Corgill, came over. Preston lived here in Midland. I had first reported a burglary over a year before this day, and the ex-wife had just moved out before the New Year's. Her stuff was packed up and stacked in the garage while Josh was here. Okay. I remember him telling me, "We're going to get down to the bottom of this stuff, Dad." And I was elated because I felt like I finally had somebody in my family that I could trust to help me. Because I had these crimes going on for a year. Some interesting things were said that evening. Josh told me, "Dad, it just doesn't make sense somebody going underground and coming over here by a tunnel." He then looks over at Preston and giggles like they had a secret. Now I know that is exactly what is going on, and I think Josh knew this while he was here, and I also think Preston did too. Okay. I would later wonder if Preston was actually under my home when I was shot based on some of his Facebook posts before he unfriended me for no known reason. If he was, then I wish he would report that to the police. As I said, Preston lived here, and I think he still does live here in Midland. He also tells me a story about the night that Josh tells me a story about the night that my mom died the month before on December 7th, 2011. There's still unanswered questions about my mom's death to this day. I have a video called My Mom's Death. Josh and Jolene were sleeping in the room across from Mom and Dad's room that night, and the ex-wife and I were in the other bedroom. He told me that they heard some female talking to Dad most all night long. I suspect it was the ex-wife, but I slept through it because we're the only other ones in the house. Okay, the ex-wife had asked me several times if I wanted a pill to help me sleep, and I kept telling her no. I wondered if that was one of the nights that she drugged me, as I was seeing these perfectly round bruises on the top of my thighs, which I couldn't explain. I later suspected that she was drugging me. I didn't know what they were at the time, but I saw them again, the round bruises, when I was in the hospital. They came from the pain shots that I was given, and they're called injection site bruises. She was a nurse, an RN, and she carried needles in her purse. I suspected that she was knocking me out. Okay. And remember, she's alleged to be involved in the shooting by her former boyfriend, Arthur Welch, and he's alleged that multiple times over years, And earlier the next morning, Josh knocks on my bedroom door and tells me with tears in his eyes that his grandpa Calloway had died. That's Don Calloway. It was understandable that he had to leave. I thought the timing was very odd, and I even asked him if he thought that maybe somebody had hurt Don, but he said no. Now, Josh had came down from Amarillo. He lived up there where Don lived, and still does. Okay. 3 weeks later, my phone lines were cut, and I was shot and left for dead inside my own home. Josh has never been back to my home, and I haven't talked to him since my dad's funeral in 2017. So you can see how odd that is, right? A couple years after the murder attempt, my dad marries his grandma, Ann Calloway, and Dad didn't talk to me for the last few years of his life with no given reason. It was clear they knew something about the nonstop and inhumane crimes, but they've claimed to know nothing. This is my family. Okay. And it's frustrating, but it doesn't change the fact that I had a gang of criminals try to murder me in my own home and had multiple death threats, since, with repeated break-ins to my home. Interestingly, the home that I lived in back in Hobbs, New Mexico, was built by Ann and Don Calloway. Tammy, my first ex-wife, Tammy Calloway's late husband, Mike Burns, was the realtor that got me that home in '92, okay? Tammy is Josh's mom and my first ex-wife. I'm going to show you a picture in a minute. I now suspect that home in Hobbs was one of the many homes that are rigged with hidden underground access, and my guess is that Ann and Don did that. That explains so much. I bet people in my family knew this too. I have a video talking about this called Freaking Attic, which tells why I think that. I moved into that Hobbs home 28 years ago in 1992. I have another video that I called 30 Years of Crimes because of it, because I think that home was rigged all that time. I didn't know it. I thought about this because today is January 5th, the day that Don Calloway died. I love my family. Please pray for the whole truth to come out so we can be united again, because that's the only answer I know. This is a ruined situation, is for the truth to come out, And so I got some pictures here. First of all, I'm going to hit the calendar. I did this in another video, and I want to show you there was just so much going on here in the 2 months, up until when I'm, the murder attempt, until when I'm ambushed and shot inside my own home with my phone lines cut. Here's December, okay, and my mom dies December 7th, okay, and I was with the ex-wife at that time, and here she makes a suicide threat during this week. We go see her psychiatrist during this week. I told that in that last video, okay, and then here's the 20th when the police were called, and that's when I was put in the back of that police car with that baggie of marijuana and told I better not call the police again. I get back in the house and the ex-wife says, "We're creating a document trail on you," and then she also said, "Danny said we'll just take your house." That was the night I said, "I'm done. I'm finished. I want a divorce," And so she actually moved out here. Separation date was right before the end of the year, New Year's, around that time, okay? So then Josh comes down here for this late Christmas on around January 4th, comes in early, like I said, comes in, he's wearing, guns, on his side when he gets here, and Preston comes over, etc. Then the next morning, he knocks on my door, Don Calloway died, and that's odd, okay? Well, then he's gone. I'm all by myself. Okay, so then I tear gas the attic during this week. I'm not sure if it was that exact day, but somewhere around there. Then here this next weekend, that's when I put electricity in my doorknob because I recognized somebody was inside my house on my bedroom doorknob. And I now believe that a young landman attorney named Matt Hyman died in my hallway. Better said that his friends seen him get electrocuted and let him die. Instead of calling for help, they decided to let their friend die so they didn't get arrested. And that's what I believe. Okay, here around this time frame, I'm not sure exactly, but it was after Matt Hyman died. The ex-wife comes by and brings back my life insurance books that she had taken from me that I didn't know about. And then here, the 17th and the 19th, Dr. Hinton, right, had made that one radiological report saying that he compared my x-rays from the 17th to ones I'd taken on the 19th when I was shot on the 28th. Okay, that was two different dates, you know? So that's what told me somebody else was shot on the 17th here. So the question still asks who was shot, because I believe they used this guy's x-rays and foot and put my name on them here, you know? But we don't know who did it. We just know it was user in interface, okay? That's who's believed did it. And we know Dr. Hinton charged the insurance company for x-rays that night that it's proven the x-rays were faked. Okay, so here, and then the first surgery was actually the next day because I got shot, late at night, so it rolled over on the next day. That was important because the x-rays time-stamped here showed the heel bone missing, right? But I hadn't had surgery yet, and it wasn't shot off, and there's evidence showing that too. So anyway, that's the calendar of all this. This is all right in here is where we're at, okay? Mom had died, now Don died, okay? And so here I'm going to show you this. This is Mom's obituary, and there's unanswered questions about this. I had just contacted the Hobbs Police Department. Interestingly, 2 days before Mom died, Sheriff Kaufman died, and I've wondered if that wasn't also connected, and so here's Don Calloway dying, and that was on the 5th, on January 5th. Okay, here's Matt Hyman, the landman the landman attorney that died. And I've suspected that he was electrocuted in my hallway. He was a landman, Choety. A lot of landmen are on my suspect list. He was an attorney for Cotton Bledsoe, Ty and Dawson, the cities. And then I showed this before. It's where his sister-in-law, she's, how did he die? Because if he died in a plane crash, it wasn't him. I was trying to eliminate him. And he died by an heart problem nobody knew he had. Well, electricity stops the heart, I'm going, oh, that didn't eliminate him. Well, what time did he die? Because he died in the morning, it wasn't him. But no, he died at the same time. I had electricity on the doorknob. And then two of his friends, both landmen, they threatened me. They are desperate to stop me from asking questions. Okay, I'm going to show you some family pictures. These are Josh as a baby. He's a cute guy. This is Josh and Jennifer, my oldest daughter, who also hasn't talked to me in a long time. Me and Josh fishing on the Pecos River when I lived in Orla. Here's Josh, me and Josh riding motorcycles when we lived in Orla, Texas. That's out in between Pecos and Carlsbad, out in the country. Here's Jennifer and Josh and me on his little motorcycle. And that was a company home out there at a gas plant. Used to be the Phillips gas plant. Okay. Come on, mouse. Okay, here's Josh and Joelene. She's now my daughter-in-law, and the girls when they were younger, sitting in my home in Hobbs. Okay. Josh younger when he's on the back patio. Josh at my granny's house with his fancy car. Always worked on these cars. And this one is Josh and Jolene, and they're with my dad and his grandma Ann Calloway, because my dad ends up marrying Ann Calloway, okay, and that's part of this story too, okay. And so another one I have here, which this comes from my mom's Bible. It was written inside my mom's Bible, and I just thought it was neat. Here, Mom wrote, Ann Webb, surrendered my life to Jesus, October 74, living in Hobbs, Mexico. I was 28 years old, received the baptism of the Holy Spirit, December 13th, 1974. Mom writes, Buddy Wayne Webb, that's me, gave himself to Jesus, making him Lord of his life on April 15th, 1991. Buddy was 28 years old, living in Orla, Texas, Ann's firstborn son. And then Josh Wayne Webb gave himself to Christ September 8, 2009, was living then in Amarillo, Texas. He's 28 years old, Ann's firstborn grandson. Okay, so that's what she's saying, 28 years old, 28 years old, 28 years old. And then Josh, 2009, that was after I had moved to Midland, okay? So I'm just going to show you that. And after I'd survived this murder attempt, and like I said, Josh hasn't been back to my house since. I texted him one day, and I said, what's your stand on this? What is your stand on what's going on? Because your dad, living under a death threat, survived a murder attempt. And here I'm writing this in August 11th, the date on there. I said, I told your mom we raised our children to tell the truth, which means the whole truth. Don't give up on doing the right thing or supporting your dad who is doing the right thing. God didn't save me from these killers to allow them to keep the truth from coming out, And then I went on, everybody has the right to be safe in their own home, including me. I'm the disabled one who is just asking for a little bit of help, And please start notifying everybody you know about this murder attempt and injustice which left me crippled. And this is, I'm not sure even what year this is, maybe 2015, I'm guessing. And Josh writes back, I need to hear things like failure to plan is planning to fail, not how you got to continue this fight to fight. You used to tell me that it takes a bigger man to walk away than to stand and fight, and maybe you should take your own advice. In the end, everybody gets what's come to them for the wrongs they've done. Let God settle this one. Quit risking your life to save someone else. You're not a superhero or cop. That's their job, not yours. And, of course, I'm just living in my home. That's all I'm doing. I'm wanting to live inside my home in peace. What my family's wanting me to do is to pack up and run. That's what they want me to move, And, I'm looking back going, no, I'm thinking, these crimes were going on before I even moved here, And so anyway, I went ahead and replied, you also know to pick your battles, and I already told you that there's some lines which you don't cross. There's some things that you're willing to die for. I draw the line in the sand. It's honorable and the right thing to do. When people break into your home, there is nowhere else to go. If I allow them to do this to me and walk away, then I'm saying it's okay that they do it to my family too. And that's what I'm pointing. These criminals are trying to terrorize me from my home, obviously. Here's more of that same conversation that Dad, and I ain't going to read the whole thing, but Dad, I love you with everything I have, etc., etc., etc. The evidence that you have is conclusive that there is truly something happening. That was big news at the time because he was the only one in my family that was, that was admitting to these crimes here, but of course, he probably didn't expect me to be, saving it and pointing it out that Josh knows these crimes are here, and I don't want to lose my daddy. I'm afraid I'm going to get a phone call, and hear that you're killed, and so that's what he's telling me there, maybe he's sincere, that he's worried about these, these criminals killing me, and maybe they will kill me, that's very real possibility, I mentioned in the story the injection site bruises, right? And I want to show you what they look like. Perfectly round bruises on the tops of my thighs. And I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. I never had them before. And I was seeing these bruises, and there was 2 or 3 of them. And I'm thinking, like I said, I was seeing them. That was right before I was ambushed and shot. And then when I'm in the hospital, I started seeing them again. And I'm going, oh, I saw them before, and during the time that my mom died, right? And that was, remember, Josh was telling me, Josh and Joelene, that they heard a woman in my dad's bedroom talking to him all night long after mom died. Okay. And so I suspect it was the ex-wife. Okay. All righty. I want to talk about the Hobbs Home. That's part of this, okay? I lived there in 92. I want to show you, and then I'm not going to do the whole story. It's just real quick. This is the living room where I lived here, and basically it was Christmas in around 2002. Cindy had just moved out, and me and the girls painted this room during the Christmas holidays. They were there for 2 weeks or a week or whatever, and so the next week, my youngest daughter comes back, Jordan, and she comes and tells me, she says, there's a light on in the attic, Dad, and there was a crack up here, okay, in that corner where that beam attached, and because there was a light on in the attic, you could see light coming through when you were down here, in this room, okay? Well, I hadn't been in the attic, okay? And I knew it wasn't on the week before because we painted the whole room. I was on a ladder up there, with paintbrush. It's been hours up there, and so I was absolutely positive somebody had been up there and turned the attic light on, okay? But, I actually thought Cindy the ex-wife I just separated from, was the person coming into my house, and she had got up in the attic, And so here, this is from my attorney. I was going through that divorce. This is in August 5th, 2013. And here he's showing in March 2002, conference with Mr. Webb, re-entry into the house by Mrs. Webb. See, I caught Cindy sneaking into my home, and that confirmed to me, oh, it was Cindy that was in the attic, and it wasn't until 2018, after all these crimes, and I find out that it's not just my home that's rigged and people getting in the attic. It's all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, Hobbs, Carlsbad, other states, California, Oregon, Alabama. I mean, I've documented all over the country, widespread racketeering and crime. And, here is this picture of Cindy when we got married. And here I asked her, I was like, Cindy, I said, so did you get up in the attic or not? It's proven you were in my home, and because I had proof. And she writes back and goes, I've never gotten the freaking attic. Well, that's the reason that video's named that, freaking attic, And I'm like, oh, if Cindy didn't get in the freaking attic, somebody else got in the freaking attic. And then I'm thinking, that home was rigged and I didn't know it. And that home was built by my in-laws, by the first in-laws. It was Tammy that found me that home, And so here it is, 7611 Rolling Meadows in Hobbs. They built my home before I moved there, before I transferred back in from Orla, and they built this home that they used to live in, okay? And I'm wondering if there ain't a tunnel in between the two, and that all the time I lived there, it was rigged. From 92, 30 years of crimes, that's what I'm saying. Ann and Don Calloway built my home and this home, and it was Tammy that found me that home, okay? And part of that all come around to, suspecting that, well, my daughter noticing there was light on in the attic. See, after I was shot, I kept, Dad's mentioning it. I heard other people, oh, we thought people was breaking in his Hobbs home too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I thought Cindy did, I had forgot all about that. I didn't even think about it at all, but that was part of the slander. Oh, he's crazy. He thinks the people are breaking this Midland out. Now he thought people breaking this Hobbs attic too. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It wasn't until 2018, I'm shot in 2012, that I'm going, they were breaking into that Hobbs home, and they're breaking into all these other homes too, And I wonder if Ann and Don, that would explain so much. I'm going to show you a message that I got from Ann Calloway. Okay, this is my this is the first mother-in-law, and then she ends up being my stepmother, okay? And because she married my dad, after mom died and after Don died, okay? And I did a Facebook post called "I have a son with my stepsister." Okay. And the reason is because Josh is our son and my dad married her mom. So that made her my stepsister and we have a son together. Okay. But it's not as Jerry Springer as it sounds, because it was 35 years later or whatever, when they got married, but it pissed Ann Calloway off, man. She was pissed, But anyway, I get this hate-filled letter from Ann, and this is what I'm reading to you. And this is kind of stuff I was dealing with as a, crippled crime victim living under the threat of death. Now, remember, back when I was ambushed and shot, all I had was my word, and I expected my family to believe me, but that ain't even the case anymore, Now I have absolute proof showing I wasn't shot with my gun. Pellets are 2.5 sizes different than what were in my gun. Lisa Rogers said I shot 45. The surgeon stated that he removed a lot of plastic from the wound. Wouldn't be there if I shot. The CSI Marty Barrett picked up my shotgun, checked in them and the live shotgun shells from it, but he didn't check in an empty shell, which would have been there if I'd been shot with my gun. There's all kinds of evidence proving I wasn't shot with my gun, which means somebody under my home shot me. Absolute, undeniable proof. And then I stated I was shot with burglar alarms going off over and over and over in the attic. Been reporting people in the attic, okay? Well, now I've documented homeowners all over the place reporting people in the attic. And then I have all these other people documented telling me underground homes and tunnels are here. There's a whole giant list. One of them was a recent candidate for sheriff. Now there's nobody ever can call me crazy, ever, I want you to listen to this right here. Buddy Wayne, you can say or do whatever you want to say or do to your family, but you better back off mine. You most definitely have some mental issues that need to be addressed. You need to ask for help so that we may all be a family. Boy, I don't know what you're on, but it's some bad stuff. Okay, this is all slander and lies. As I just pointed out, all I've done is tell the truth. And keep in mind, I was a 28-year company man, got drug tested regularly. That was all bullshit. That's what that was. When I found Don dead in the shower at 6 a.m. on January 5th, 2012, that's why I'm reading this to you. Josh is the first person I called. I did not know he was at your house, and I call bullshit on that right there. They lived, Josh and Joelene and the two granddaughters lived in Amarillo where Don and Ann lived, I bet you they talked to him every single day, and Josh didn't make a trip all the way to Midland for a late Christmas and didn't tell his grandma. That was bullcrap. She lied right off the bat right there. Because you had called him about all this idiotic stuff. He took his gun because it goes with him everywhere. He came to see if he could in some way help you. Little did he know you had stoned yourself out of your mind, Buddy Webb. No conspiracy on my husband's death. He had a massive heart attack per his death certificate, right? Sound like excuse making. It's really suspicious letter about Don's death. You married my daughter and had a son almost 34 years ago. I dare you to say that you had a child by your stepsister. Remember, that's what pissed her off. And then you wonder we have nothing to do with you. By the way, you did not raise your son. Remember Louisiana, Buddy Webb? Or shall I remind you? And that was when I was 17 years old and me and Tammy were married and moved to Louisiana. What horrible things you have said against your son and insinuated. Josh is a well-respected father, two beautiful little girls, doing okay, has no desire to be a part of you because of your issues, and neither does your two daughters by someone else. Isn't this enough for you to go and seek help? Is this drug worth your family, both sides, your job, your quality of life? For God's sake, do something. More slander and lies. We all know that your injury was not done by burglars. Last but not least, because of the humiliation, the lies, the insanity reaction, and issues, I feel that I must protect my own and will by seeking legal action against you. You have publicly tried to destroy my respect, my judgment, and have totally embarrassed your only son beyond words. You did it online, my friend. This is a federal offense. You need and must be sent somewhere for help that no one can help you but God and medical help. You're always throwing people's names around. She always threatens people. She has ever since I was 16 years old and dating her daughter. Threatening people and my name is Calloway, and VJ Calloway will not appreciate these accusations that you were throwing around. Remember, I was telling you that that VJ Calloway was the wealthy brother. Don was his brother. And I advise you, big boy, you better be making some back statements. PDQ, see you, by the way. I don't want you at my wedding. Okay, I wasn't invited to my dad's wedding. That is the main reason you were not invited. Now we know the truth. It was one of the happiest occasions of my life, and I didn't want some malicious, insane person around. I cannot believe how you have ruined your life. No one did it to you, Buddy Wayne. You did it. You lost your job. You lost your benefits, your integrity, your family. Is this stuff worth all this? Ann Calloway Webb. Okay. And so I just wanted y'all to, that's the real Ann Calloway right there. That is the person she is. And I'm telling you, and so, and this is Tammy. This is the first mother of my child. Tammy was always my friend. We were friends. We were married when we were kids. I was literally married and divorced before I was 18 years old. She gets pregnant. I do the right thing, get married. It didn't work out. Like I said, we were married, divorced before I was 18, but we were always friends for years. The only time and up until here, I'm the survivor of a murder attempt, and now nothing. It's crickets. I was really surprised to get this betrayal because I really considered Tammy my friend. And I'm going to show you a picture of Preston. Remember, Preston was here. He lives here in Midland, okay? And he was here that night with Josh just a couple of weeks before I'm ambushed and shot, And so he went to Hobbs, Mexico, lives in Midland, okay? I just got that a minute ago from his Facebook. And I want to show you that. This is family. Here, I'm going to show you a picture. This right here is a picture of my daughter, my oldest daughter's birthday at Trinity Park in Hobbs, New Mexico. This is my sister-in-law, Mitzi, holding Jennifer, and this is Preston, okay? And there's Tammy, and there's my mom, okay? It's the people in my family right here. And, you know, I was going to show you one other thing. I played this many times, and especially in light of the slander and lies.
Facing charges after police say she burned down her home to get rid of someone who she claimed was in the attic.
I want to say something about that. That was over in Carlsbad, New Mexico, 70 miles from Hobbs. Then my dad worked right outside of Carlsbad. Knew a lot of Carlsbad people, you know. But that's where that one was. I got a video on that. That's in Midland. Actors over in Odessa. You know, and so you listen to that, it's like there ain't no way. You know, I was saying burglar alarms go in my attic over and over and over before I'm ambushed and shot. Proof showing I wasn't shot with my gun. You know, this is a crazy story. Being shot by somebody under your home is crazy. I mean, that's all there is to it. Secret police is crazy. Fake x-rays is crazy. But every bit of it's backed up with evidence. That's what happened. And I did expect my family to believe me, but now I really expect them to believe me because now I have absolute proof. And, you know, and it just looks like, you know, I think they've been deceptive and been hiding something from me. And you know, my life is still on the line. That's the main thing here. I mean, I'm still having crimes committed against me all these years later. You know, I mean, that's why I'm, you know, on that Facebook post and even on YouTube, pray for my family so we can be reunited. The only answer here is the whole truth to come out, you know. I mean, that is the answer so we can find out, expose these underground homes here, expose these tunnels, and just, you know, as I said, it's said in another video, let's arrest the people that killed that little girl at the oil show party. Let's arrest the people that killed Mike Lawhon. Let's arrest the people that killed Haley Dunn. You know, let's arrest the people that broke in my home, cut my phone lines, and shot me. You know, and let's find out who was underground having pedophile parties. There's a whole bunch of crimes here that's got to be solved because nobody can expect justice right now the way it is. You know, God bless everybody. Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye bye.